setting up an Android device. And like I said earlier on, we're going to be doing this with an older device. I'm not doing it like on a Pixel device or something like that. I'm going to be doing this on a Moto G, and I think it's the 4th generation Moto G. So this doesn't have Oreo. And frankly, if I'm going to suggest that if you're going to get an Android device, I will say if you can't afford something with Android 9, Android 10, or Android 11, you should try to get something that is running at least Android 8, which is Oreo. And my reasoning for that is not that, older versions, say Nougat or Marshmallow or Lollipop or even Kit Kat will not work.
Where's my pack of Oreo cookies? Darn.
I know, doggone it. I should have brought some of that. But since I'm not doing it on an Oreo device, bro, you don't get them cookies. No cookie. But so I'm gonna be doing this, and the reason is because if you have anything with Oreo, you have that audio separation, so you're going to have an accessibility channel, and so you can independently decrease or increase your screen reader volume, TTS volume, or increase independently the music volume or media volume. But if you get anything running anything other than Oreo, then those two volumes or sound channels are mixed together, and it's not a bueno
and not only, sorry, Warren, not only that, the other advantage too is the later devices you can do the volume.
The 2-volume hold down.
The 2-volume hold. And for those that don't want to spend $700, $800, $900, $1,000, $1,500, you don't want to get a Samsung. The Android equivalent to the iPhone SE would be a Pixel 4a or 4a 5G. And it gets extremely good battery life. So you will not be disappointed there. I have gotten as much as 2 full days on a battery on my 4A. So you can't go wrong. If battery life is important to you and budget is important, it's $350 in the US, brand new for the 4A. The 4A 5G, I think, is $499. So again, and this is just preference, but 5G to me is not that prevalent yet. So do you really need a 5G phone? What is it going to gain you?
Yeah. And so like I was saying, so all that we're trying to do here is that, and the whole idea of showing it on an older device is that the hold down finger still works whether it's a new device or an older device. Now, the only thing that's missing on an older device, running anything other than Oreo, is the fact that you cannot use the 2-volume hold down. Instead, you're going to hold down your 2 fingers on the screen to activate accessibility. So again, whether it's a Pixel 5, Pixel 4, 4a 5G or regular 4, or whatever, the 2 fingers still works, except that on older devices, the 2-volume hold key is not going to work. So I'm going to turn this thing on. It's on, and I'm going to put my 2 fingers down, because if you don't do this, if you have anything older than Oreo, it is important that you use this method at the beginning, because if you pass the beginning and went ahead and set up the device, or someone sets up the device, you're not going to be able to enable accessibility without first going into the system settings and onto accessibility, and therein activating TalkBack. So right from the get-go, it is important that once you are on that setup screen where you have the language selection and all of that, of course, if you're blind, you're not going to know that. So the trick is that after turning on the device, my rule of thumb is that you leave that thing on there for about 45 seconds to about a minute before you put your 2 fingers down to make sure that you are on the setup screen. So I've done that, and now I'm going to put my 2 fingers down and keep holding and see.
Continue touching the screen until you hear a beep to enable accessibility mode. Accessibility tutorial. When Explore by Touch is turned on, you can touch the screen to learn what's Gmail.
So, in other words,
keep sliding your finger around the screen until you find at least one more icon.
If you are using a newer device that runs Oreo or later, you could use either the two-finger hold down on the face of the screen, or you hold down the two volume keys. And if it's not
Keep
Android
sliding your finger around the
11
screen until you find
or
at least one
10,
more icon.
you're just
Landscape,
going to hear a
Gmail.
chime, and then you need to let go and hold them down again, and then accessibility talkback will come on talking. But if you have anything like Android 10 or Android 11, when you hold down those two volumes, it's going to come up and say, hey, hold those two volumes down again to enable accessibility. And so now I'm going to hit the back key.
Gmail. Back button. Welcome.
At the bottom, there's a back key. On the bottom left corner is the back key. So now we're back to the setup screen where the language selection is.
Language, English, United States button.
And so if you're using a different language, you could tap here to go choose your language. But my warning here is that if you tap here, and if you happen to be in a region that the language is not supported and you choose that language, you're not going to have any speech because it's not built into the ROM of the system. And so if you can understand a little bit of English, probably just leave it by default on this, and then later on you can change your TTS once you have Wi-Fi connectivity. But at this point, it's preferable to leave it on the English selection. So below that is the start button.
Start button.
Now, when we
Select Wi-Fi. Showing items 1 to 7 of 20.
When we tap on Get Started or Start, then we are taken to the Wi-Fi
Showing
selection.
items 1 to 7 of 21.
And here you
Showing
could,
items 1 to
excuse me,
THEMESH. Wi-Fi signal full. Wi-Fi 2 bars. Showing
So,
items THEMESH-GU.
I don't want to do the guess.
THEMESH. MY. THEMYSP.
Oh,
THEMESH. Wi-Fi sig.
and when you are in the Wi-Fi selection, the tendency is that it may be refreshing the page. And so if you touch
Showing items
your
1 to 7
Wi-Fi,
of 19.
it may refresh it and could be a little
Showing
bit
items 1 to
frustrating.
7 of 20.
So if you find the one that is yours, just go ahead and tap on that right away. Or
Showing
if you
items
wait,
1 to
you could see that it keeps
ROOFTOP.
what?
THEMESH-GUE.
Let's guess.
THEMESH. MYSPECTRU.
Now, so here I tap on mine called the mesh. And what happens is that you're going to type in your password.
THEME. Edit. Not checked. Show password checkbox. Showing
Now-
items 1 to 7 of 8.
With anything other than Oreo, you will need a
Showing items 1
headset.
to 7 of
But if you check where it says show password,
Not checked. Show password.
you should be able
checked.
to hear
Showing items
the
1 to
stuff.
7. Showing items 1.
You should be able to hear the keys when you touch the keyboard. So,
Symbols.
see, for instance, I tap.
4.
So you see, as I can do,
1.
as I touch this,
1.
you can hear
2. 1.
it say,
Showing items 1.
the things as
Showing
I
items
go
1 to-
along. But
Letters.
if you
Letters mode.
didn't check that box that says show password, you're not going to hear
Showing
the
items
keys
1
that
to
you're
7 of
touching.
dot.
So
Dot.
see now as I switch back to
Alternative characters
to
are
letters,
password.
it is not
Showing
speaking
items 1
those
to 7 of
letters.
14.
And so I will have to plug in a headset in
Landscape.
order
Select Wi-Fi.
to be able to
MYSP.
hear those. So I'm going to mute for a little bit and let Austin and Dennis talk while I put in my password to the Wi-Fi, and then I will come back and go from here. Austin, Dennis?
So I want
All
to
right.
give a comment on the language selection. The language selection may work in your region if your device has a firmware built in for your region, which the company flashes and sends it to you. Then you can select, but it's better not to change it. You may not have speech.
The main thing before you go changing anything, third-party apps, what have you, different email apps, different web browser apps, and this is all stuff we can cover down the road. You want to get the thing set up and properly working, and then if you don't like the native installed apps, you can at that point in time go find alternatives. There are plenty of them. For example, if you want a different email client, go get Aquamail. Go get K9 Mail, which has been around for years. I personally use Aquamail. If you want a different browser, you've got Lightning browser, you've got Firefox, you've got Edge, you've got Kiwi. So there's a bunch of different apps that are out there that you can use. So, it is definitely, there's definitely choices. You're not stuck with what is installed on the device. Now, in some cases, you may be stuck with what's there. By that, I mean, some apps may be able to be removed, some may not. There are ways you can remove them, but I won't go into that here because you have to know what you're doing in order to remove them. And if you are not careful, you could have yourself some problems. So if it doesn't give you the uninstall option, it's best to just leave well enough alone and not try to remove it. But you can change out your SMS client. You can change out, as I said, your web browser. You can install different radio apps, different music apps. The question is, what can't you do that you want to do? Android gives you a great deal of flexibility in customizing it to your needs and your preferences. So, bear that in mind, that this isn't like iOS in that you're stuck with, the built-in messaging app. Or I'll give you another example where it's different. You can stack contacts on the home screen. You can add contacts to the home screen and then create a folder with those contacts. You can't do that on iOS. So you could add, say you call 5 people quite often. You could add those 5 people to the home screen, create a folder, and call it friends. And all your friends' contacts are in that folder. You don't have to go into the contacts, search for them, go into the dialer, search for them. So it makes it a lot simpler to get done what you want to get done. And that's just some ideas. And, again, if there's something you want to know how to do, we want to make this thing benefit you. We want to help you, the user, from the user that's the beginner to somebody who's been on Android for a couple years, or you're on and off and, well, I don't know, is Android for me? Hey, bring us your questions. Let us know what you're struggling with, and let's see if we can't help you. That's our goal at the end of the day, is to help you, realize that not every app is going to be cross-platform, unfortunately, but we will certainly try to, help you. And if you have a favorite app, send it to us. Tell us why you like it. And, that's how, because the three of us cannot know. There's millions of apps on the Play Store, probably billions of apps. We can't know every app. So if there's something that you think is just awesome, let us know. And we will certainly take a look, and it may be featured in one of our upcoming apps of the week. His password.
Downloading. Suggestions for English, United States, will be ready soon.
Yeah. So after you've connected to your Wi-Fi, and I suggest that, maybe at the beginning, don't put in your SIM card because it may cause some issues. Just try to set it up on Wi-Fi and then, later on put in your SIM card. Because if it sees your SIM card and sees your region, it may try to get stuff and, for your language, and then it's not in there. And you're going to have problems with, the TTS engine. So, again, just set it up on Wi-Fi. So after you've connected to Wi-Fi, then
Accept and continue button.
you have to accept all the
Software update. Software update. Digital personalization. Digital personalization. Account setup. Got another device.
So here is where you could either choose. This is very important. At this level, you're going to choose whether you want to bring in your apps. If you had another phone prior to what you're setting up, and you would like to be able to bring your apps and stuff like that from your previous phone, it is important then that when you choose it here, you're going to choose that, yes, I'm going to be bringing my stuff from an older device or from a phone that I already have, provided you're using that very same account.
Got another device. If you use another Android device, you can quickly copy your current setup to this Modig 3.
Okay, so
Not checked. Copy your Google accounts, apps, and data from your other device radio button.
so we got that.
Not checked. No thanks radio button.
Or no thanks. So I'm
Not
gonna
checked.
say
Copy your Google accounts, apps, and data from your other device radio button.
because I'm doing this as a demo and I don't want to put my stuff on this one. I'm gonna
Not checked.
say
No thanks radio.
no thanks.
No thanks. Checked.
Okay.
Okay. Follow the next
And so
back button.
I'm gonna go to,
Next button.
next.
Sign in.
So the next field is gonna be to sign
Sign in.
in.
Google accounts. Sign in with your Google account. Learn more.
So here
Edit. Sign in
you're
with
gonna
your Google
find
account. Edit box. Email or phone.
your email address
Double
field.
tap. Edit box.
And I'm gonna
Currently
type
editing.
in my-
email or phone. S W W
I'm gonna
A
type in my email address.
R C Shift A R space it Z G.
Oops, excuse me.
Delete.
I think
Z deleted.
there we go.
Shift
I want it at,
symbols. Space Z it
there we go. So warcar@gmail.com
Y
is what
G
I want to type in.
period M A I L period space
Now, if you
C
have a Samsung phone, some of
P
the Samsung phones
O
will have a .com, so it will
period
fill that
M
for you
M
instead of. And so now that I've typed in my email address, I'm going to tap on next or go.
Go. Keyboard hidden. Sign in with your Google account. Learn more. Hi Warren. Showing text keyboard.
So the next
Plug in a
thing
headset
now,
to hear password keys spoken aloud. Edit box.
Now-
Currently editing. Password.
here's the problem. If you're running anything other than Oreo, you're not going to be able to hear your password. In other words, you're not going to be able to hear the keys, the keyboard as you touch the different characters on the keyboard. And so if you're running anything lower than Oreo, the thing you need to do is to plug in a headset. But if you have anything Oreo or higher, you actually will be able to hear the keys that you are touching. So even if I find that the check mark that says show
Plug in a
password,
headset to hear
I
password
still
keys spoken aloud.
can't
English,
hear
US. Edit
what
box.
those
Currently
keys are
editing.
saying on the
Password.
keyboard. It will simply say dot, and what.
Portrait. Plug in
See.
a headset. Dot.
See,
Hi Warren.
so see, that's what happens. So I'm sorry, I'm going to plug
Landscape.
in my
Plug in a
headset.
headset to hear
and
password keys spoken aloud.
It's not that I'm trying to hide my my password from you guys, but I wouldn't be able to know what I'm typing since I'm not seeing those characters on the keyboard, the keys on the keyboard to be able to tap on those to type. So I'm gonna put on a headset again and put in my password. So you're not gonna be able to hear me while I'm doing it. So I am now gonna try to put in my password. So okay. So when you are done, then you tap on the go at the bottom, and it takes me to, if you have a two-step enabled, two-factor authentication enabled, you're gonna find something like
Worker@gmail.com. Two-step verification. This extra step shows it's really you trying to sign in.
So I'm gonna say, hey, so you have options here where you could say,
Two-step
send your
verification.
text.
This extra step
you know.
shows worker@gmail.com. Try another way to sign in.
Let's try another way.
Use your security key.
Use your security key.
Can't find an eligible device.
Okay.
Use your
So
try
you
another way to
tap
sign.
on try
Use
another
your phone
way.
or tab. Get a verification code from the Google Authenticator app.
So you have either use the authenticator, the Google app, or tap yes on your phone, or send a text message.
Use your phone or tablet to get a security code, even if it's offline. Tap yes on your phone or tap.
So I'm gonna do the one that says tap yes on my phone.
Two-step verification. Tap yes on your phone. Use your phone or tablet to get a secure two-step verification. Tap yes on your. Use your. Tap yes on your.
Okay.
Two-step
Now that I've
verification.
tapped
This
yes
extra step
on
shows
my,
it's really you trying to sign in. Landscape.
I've tapped yes. Do the one that says hey tap yes on my phone. So what that happens, or what that means, is that it sends it to my other phone. And I hope to God I know where I put that phone. There we go. So now here on my other phone, there's no, it's not me.
Yes button.
And I tap yes.
Pixel launcher. Shuttle 2.0.
It says signing
Hi, Warren.
approved.
Portrait.
And then, automatically I am logged on to my account. And so the next thing
Hi
now
Warren.
is to
Hi Warren.
go to next.
Worker@gmail. We publish the.
And I'm going to go to the agree.
Hi Warren.
Oops, I'm holding the
Landscape.
phone wrong.
Portrait.
And by the way, this thing can flip on you. So you have the, landscape, and you just shake it around to move you back to the
I
portrait
agree
mode.
button. Don't
So
end
there's,
it. I agree button.
I agree.
Checking info.
And I hear my phone
Google
says, hey, did
services.
you sign in? And of course, I'll tap on.
Automatically back.
So this about, backup your services, backup your apps automatically. Yeah, those are checked by default.
Next button.
And so you tap on next.
Next button.
I'm used
Next
to,
button.
single tap,
Just a sec.
and I just,
Next button.
I keep
Disabled.
forgetting to double tap. And then, it's updating
Back button.
the,
Next button. Disabled.
okay, let's see, what did I not do
Back
here?
button. Just a sec.
Okay, just a sec. So it's telling me to hold on. So basically what's going on here is that it is doing all the necessary things that needs to happen, connecting to my account and all of that. And if there are any updates, then it's going to do those updates before it gives me the next button. So I think that would be how you set it up. And the step that I skipped earlier on, if you had checked the radio button to bring your stuff from your other phone, you would have an option to either put the phones back to back so it'll be transferred via NFC, or you would have a choice of bringing your apps from the cloud. And I always suggest choosing the one that says bring your apps from the cloud to this new phone over using the NFC, because if your other phone doesn't have it, and sometimes all the apps don't get transferred well there. So that's how you do it. And, next week we'll continue from here. Now that you set up your phone, then what next? Because we don't want to make this part to be too lengthy. Boys?
Screen off.
That was a good way on how to set up your phone.
So that's how you set up your phone. And again, like I said, if you have any, if you can afford something running Oreo, I would prefer that you get something running Oreo, because next week when I show you guys what happens, especially with the single channel for both accessibility and your regular media channels, it becomes a problem on how to adjust them individually, as you cannot do that without increasing the other one. So that is something to keep in mind when you are getting a phone. But if all you can afford is something running Nougat or earlier or later rather, you could still get that. But the advice is that you get something that's at least running Oreo or later.
Get, without breaking the bank, get the best thing you can afford. And if you can afford the $300, $350 price point, I realize that's not in everybody's budget, but there may be ways you can get discounts. Your carrier may offer financing. You may be able to finance it through, another method. But if you can afford a 4A, I highly recommend it. That's my daily device. It works well. It will offer you the best accessibility. It comes with Android 10, and it will update to 11, and then you'll get at least 12 and 13. And the nice thing is, in later versions of Android, you have a separate accessibility volume, and we'll get into how to adjust that. And like Warren said, you can't do that in earlier versions below 8. So that is why we're encouraging you, if possible, get a phone with 8 or higher, because it will allow you the greatest accessibility.
And there are a lot of phones out there that you could have, for less than $300, that, have those in,
Absolutely.
Some of the Nokia phones, and a lot of the Android One devices you could get for some like less than $200. And, some of those are running Android 10 or Android 11, and you can get those as well. So where there's not enough money, wisely figure out which one you want, or, ask a question.
The thing you want to be careful of is how badly do they skin their devices, or will you get updates? If you spend $200, $250 for a phone and it's a Motorola, you may never see an update.
You may never see an update, if you get a lower version of Motorola,
Or
unless
a
you're
blue
getting the.
phone, or I don't know about the Xiaomi again. And that's where subscribing to blind Android users plus subscribe at groups.io, that's where you can ask questions like that. And we will do our very best to help you and guide you. You tell us what you're looking for, and we'll do our very best to help you. If you say, hey, I can't afford a $350 phone. I'd love to, but I can't. Okay, what can you afford? What's your budget? And we'll do our best to help you.